All right, so this is just going to be one interesting element to the Browns offense that I have noticed when watching film of the last 2 weeks. I've really kind of limited my study leading up to Saturday morning's live stream about the Browns offense to just the last 2 weeks. They've scored 37 points in the 2 games since Deshaun Watson has been back. So that doesn't sound very impressive, obviously. I think they've been inconsistent. This video here is going to focus on a particular element of their offense. You can see it at the bottom, the Browns option offense. They're actually running some similar concepts to what the Ravens run in a lot of ways. Now, let's talk about the total points that they've scored, however. 37 points scored in 2 games against the Texans and the Bengals. Obviously, two teams on different ends of the spectrum. The Bengals defense with DJ Reader there is top flight, top of the food chain defense when he's available. Still extremely good even when DJ Reader's not there. And they only generated 10 points against them. They scored 27 against the Texans, but 2 of those were defensive touchdowns, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So out of that 37 points, only 23 has been generated by the offense, if I did my math right. So, having said that, I think the expectations for the Browns' offense are too low for a lot of us, myself included. I think they're a little bit more multiple with Deshaun Watson back there. Now, that's a positive way of saying it. A negative way of saying it is this: they don't know who they are right now. And can they execute some of these concepts? Yes, they can. Have they executed all of them flawlessly in the past 2 weeks? No. That shouldn't be surprising, right? But they have too much talent. I want to warn Ravens fans and myself that this team has more talent than they have been able to put out on film in the last 2 weeks in terms of execution. Nick Chubb wasn't able to generate much last week. This is an RPO throw backside on the slant. This is going to be a tough concept to defend when you have Nick Chubb here. And then they're pulling 2 linemen. Essentially, it's buck sweep. RPO is all it is. For people who run the shotgun wing T, I mean, this is just a staple play out of the shotgun wing T where there's only a quarterback in the backfield and a halfback, no fullback on the field. If there's anybody in the comment section who runs a shotgun wing T, tell me how this play is dissimilar. You don't have 2 guards pulling, but you do have 2 linemen pulling. And if you give it, to Chubb, then he's going to run around the edge. If not, Watson keeps it, tries to fire the slant backside. He's got to throw it kind of underneath of the arm of that blitzing DB, so the throw ended up being low to Amari Cooper. All right, so now let's get into some of the stuff that they do that I've referred to as similar to the Ravens. This is extremely similar. The only difference is they have an athlete in terms of running back here as the fullback, where we have like Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Pat Ricard, a guy who's clearly not getting the ball. This is a 3rd and 1 against the Bengals, and they do not get this on this first down. Surprise, surprise, the guy who's involved in it, besides the blitzing DBs off the edge, all right, the guy who's involved in it is DJ Reader. The Browns are using a lot of concepts. Under center, shotgun, pistol. They're trying to bridge the gap between a lot of those things. And I'm very interested to see. First of all, the Ravens defense has a lot to prepare for. Because you have, just look at this play. You have the give to Hunt, which is what happens. Potentially, obviously, Watson could keep it. And then Nick Chubb is now in pitch relationship with Watson. And you'll see those guys work out to the left side of the screen. The offense is right as Hunt fails to get the first down. That play is there, meaning it is available to them. It's something they can execute, and they can get Watson out in space along with Nick Chubb. Another version of it is Hunt now in the backfield. On the last one, he got the football, crossing Watson's face. Watson kept it, and then Chubb went around to stay in pitch relationship with him. Nope, not here. This is option left now, and they're running Hunt out into the flats. I don't suspect that Hunt is reading this the same way that Andrews, Likely, and Ricard, and a couple of years ago, pre-injury, Nick Boyle was reading it. What I mean by that is Watson and Hunt would theoretically both be reading Hendrickson. If Hendrickson runs upfield, then Hunt would release up inside and go block the front side inside linebacker, the first guy that showed up, which would probably be Logan Wilson. These are very extreme examples. If Hendrickson runs down the line to tackle Chubb on the give, then Hunt would loop around and go block the front side inside linebacker because it would be a keep for Deshaun Watson. It looks like to me Hendrickson has given him neither of those reads. He's kind of given him a half man or half field read, whereby he's going to play the latter half of the give to Chubb. And then if Watson did keep it, he would play the latter half or inside half of Watson. So he's playing half-man technique. That's what I know it as. And it ends up being a failed run. Surprise, surprise, who makes the tackle? DJ Reader. This is a look at only option concepts that the Browns are using that they clearly did not run the first time they played the Ravens in, I think, Week 7 with Jacoby Brissett. They do have a personnel group or a set where they're a situation where they're using Jacoby Brissett. It's generally 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 when they go under center. This is pistol option. And you can see that there's a little bit of a fumble there. The mesh isn't perfect. They're a little, maybe a touch too close here, in my opinion. And it causes Chubb to bobble it a little bit. Wouldn't have mattered. DJ Reader is there. So my point is they're trying to execute more stuff with Deshaun Watson. And I wonder, is there going to be a time where they are able to execute all of these things? I don't know if that time will be this year, to be honest with you. It could be, for Ravens fans, if you want to be negative, you say, well, it could be next week. Well, yeah, sure, it could. The Bengals just gave us a pretty good blueprint of stopping this run game. Granted, they have DJ Reader, but we've got some pretty damn good guys in there, too. This is the same play as the previous one that I showed you from the all-22 angle. This is a very similar look to what Lamar has done since 2019, reading the man on the line of scrimmage, fullback, in this case, a Hunt. It doesn't appear to be reading him, but let me rephrase that. He could be reading him. Hendrickson is stepping down, so he's just looping outside of him. And this may be a misread by Watson. I don't think it is. I think this is just Hunt is not reading it, and Watson is. Watson reads that as a give, and clearly it should have been a give because Hendrickson doesn't end up touching the running back. That's normally a way that you can tell. Same play with a tight end, 88 backside, running out into the flats. I would say this is an RPO versus a true option like the last play. But for Ravens fans, it looks very similar, right? You're getting a ride of the running back and then a give. Well, why did he give it? Because he's reading this guy right here who does nothing in terms of taking something away. He doesn't come down the line. He doesn't expand. He just kind of sits there. It's a give to Chubb for 4 yards. How do I know it's an RPO? Watch the routes. Watch the routes being run on the backside. And the linemen are not getting downfield. So the Browns' offense is a little bit more multiple, if you ask me. Now, one lineman did get downfield, number 75, I think the left guard. Browns' offense is a little bit more multiple that we'll see this time. Makes sense. They got Deshaun Watson back. His passing stats haven't been fantastic. I'm going to put out a video just on Deshaun Watson tonight and kind of delve a little bit more into this theory that they're trying to have their feet in 2 or maybe even 3 worlds. This time Hunt's in the backfield, and it's another option. Keeps it, flips it out to the tight end for a 10-yard gain. So just a hide concept. Very similar to the play you saw on the last one. This time the tight end is leaking out into the flats. Watson is keeping it and then flipping it out to the tight end. The Ravens got their hands full in terms of preparing for all of this. There's the under center game, the pistol option stuff, RPOs, shotgun stuff, somewhat similar to what the Ravens do in both of those situations. They're actually running QB counter read, or what a lot of people call bash, with Watson. I have it on film twice in the last 2 weeks, but we don't have every single Browns possession for the whole year. We've got, I think, 5 from last week against the Bengals and maybe 7 from the week before against the Texans when they did struggle. So let me know what you think of the similarities in some of the things they're running. This one, that's exact play is not one that the Ravens run, to be honest with you, but conceptually it's very similar to something we run on the other side. But here on out, these are all concepts that the Ravens run often, the Ravens have relied on in terms of threatening the defense horizontally with the RPO, utilizing the quarterback in the run game to play 11 on 11. It looks like the Browns are willing to do a little bit of that also. I have seen Watson run. I think he has 13 carries in the past 2 weeks, but I think that probably 2/3 of those are scrambles. Maybe at least half are scrambles, but a number of them are like this, where it appears as if he could possibly keep it as a runner and then flip it out into the flats like you saw on the last play that I showed you. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of this video. I'll have a really in-depth look at Deshaun Watson's play from the last 2 weeks. It'll come out hopefully late Thursday night or early Friday morning. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section.